Great, we're
We're
live now.
live.
Hello, my name is
Hi.
Lana Wyszynski, and this is the fourth in a short series of podcasts we've been releasing. In the weeks leading up to GDC, we are meeting and conducting brief interviews with the speakers involved in the animation and micro talks at this year's Animation Bootcamp. I am honored to be here today with Jake Clark. Hi, Jake.
Hi, how's it going? I'm
Going
also
very
honored.
well. That's
Yeah,
good. I'm so happy. I'm honored that you're honored. I was just saying this to you like a second ago, and I'm gonna let you introduce yourself, but I am gonna give you like a bit of a tire pump here. And
sure.
you're the first person I reached out to for the micro talks, and
Really?
oh yeah, I was so excited when you replied and said yes to being a part of this because you're doing wonderful things. I'll let you introduce yourself. What are you doing right now?
Okay, so yeah, I'm Jake Clark. I'm currently an animator on Cuphead, the new indie game that's gonna come out this year for sure.
Sweeping the nation.
Maybe. Yeah, I've been working on that for about a year and a half now. It's been amazing. Animating on paper has always been my dream. Um, and before that, I went to school at Capilano University in Vancouver, which I owe a lot of my success to. Their they train you classically in paper, and that without that I wouldn't have been prepared at all to do this. So I owe Capilano University and the head of the program, Don Pero, a lot just for making that happen.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Man, so exciting.
Oh yeah.
Um, you're like one of our everybody's like we have lots of different people. Like we have a journalist or editor and technical animators, and then leads and people who are new to the industry. But you're the only person who's you're such a wonderful. And I'll ask you about this a bit later. Just a wonderfully unique point of view that I think nobody else can really share a lot of. So do you have a tagline or a quick overview for your talk that you'll be delivering?
Sure. So my talk is titled "Do Your Thing," and sort of what caused it was, or what inspired me to do it is just a lot of people in the process of becoming animators, going to school and everything. Certainly what happened to me was you go to school and you're sort of set on a path that's usually most you're usually going toward a job at Disney or a job at DreamWorks or
Sort of
a big
premeditated by the
studio.
school.
Yeah, and so I've seen what a lot of people, you're urged to draw in other people's styles, and you're kind of building yourself up to be a part of a company or a studio that already exists. Like you're taught to put everything you've got into developing the certain skill sets to serve this purpose in sort of the machine of a studio.
Mm-hmm.
What happens to a lot of people like myself is you lose a lot of what you got into it to do. Like
What did you get into it to do? Like, did you have like a particular aha moment that sort of struck you that made you want to pursue animation?
uh kinda, yeah. Well, I was about 13 or 14, and my brother, who was a few years older than me, he had, for his IT class, he made a little cartoon. It was just a silly little cartoon with a blob guy talking to Michael Jackson and some other weird stuff.
Who else would a blob talk to?
Who knows? But so then I asked him about it. I was like, how did you do this? And he said that on the computers there's a program that you can use to make cartoons. And I was just, what? We can make cartoons? We can do that? Because before that, I just thought it's magic. I had never really thought about how it was done or anything like that. And then I learned that anybody can actually make cartoons, and then that was it. So I got the software onto my computer at home.
What was the
And
software? Were you working in 3D or have you always been 2D?
and pretty much always 2D. It was called ProMotion. It's a little crude looking back at it now. this is before I knew about Flash. It was just
Mhm.
the software that they had on the computers at my school. So I got it at home and spent countless hours making dumb little stickman cartoons with ninjas and dudes riding motorcycles away from explosions and
Were you like a
all that.
contributor to E-Bombs World back in the day kind of thing?
Um, I heard that E-Bombs World actually sort of just stole a lot of stuff.
Oh,
That's what
well.
I've heard. Maybe that's a rumor, but
I'm totally uneducated in the ways of the early Flash videos of the World Wide Web.
yeah. I heard they used to just kind of take people's content and put their own watermark on it, and yeah. But I did like I was making stuff on my own, and then I found out about. Have you heard of the screensavers?
The
It was like
screensavers?
it was an old TV show on a channel called G4 Tech TV.
Hmm.
It was just mostly about tech and games and all that kind of stuff. But they interviewed Tom Fulp, the head of Newgrounds.com.
Mm-hmm.
And then once I found out about that, I got into that, and I was sort of a contributor on Newgrounds.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, and that's where most of my development happened, really, just in that community. Yeah, not E-Bombs World.
Not E-Bumps World,
No.
but Newgrounds. Both
Yeah.
of them. Both of them. I remember like when I was in junior high, I would go and E-Bombs World and Newgrounds were like the two websites that I would, and homestarrunner.com were
Oh
like
yeah,
the
of course.
websites that I classically like checked for sweet new animated vids to
Yeah,
scope
yeah.
out.
That's basically all we had at the time. But
Yeah. Cool. Well, that's wonderful. So we've been doing this with everybody so far. I've constructed a sort of a weird questionnaire that is not so much about the micro talk or what you're going to be speaking about, but more like a get to know Jake kind of thing.
yeah,
So do you mind if I ask you a couple of questions?
sure.
Fantastic. So you've obviously wanted to do this and have been doing this, I guess, for a long time. But if you could do anything other than what you're doing right now, what would it be?
I think it would be music production.
Really?
Or yeah, like just growing up. I mean, throughout my life, I've always sort of made music in my head, just kind of coming up with beats in my head, and I've always really loved music. Maybe even more than animation.
Wow. Do you play music as well?
Poorly. I haven't really put in as much time as I should have, and I'm getting into it a lot more now. Just kind of scoring little cartoons and slowly learning piano and that kind of stuff. But yeah, that's just another dream of mine, is make albums of music and tour and all that. Yeah.
Beautiful. I've always thought the two are kind of closely connected because both of them,
Oh yeah.
you need that good timing.
Yeah. And just a lot of the stuff applies, so just like contrast in like an animation, there's contrast in movement and shapes and all these things. And in music, there's contrast in the different sounds and rhythms and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Very interesting. I have a twin sister actually, and I'm an animator, and she's actually a sound engineer. So
Oh, okay.
we're living both of your lives.
Yeah. Sweet.
Yeah, awesome. So you've never been to GDC before,
No.
so this will
It's
be your first
expensive.
year. It is, unless you volunteer.
Yep.
Yeah, which I volunteered for a long time. It's the best
Oh,
experience.
good strategy.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So having never been before, what are you most excited about for the Game Developers Conference this year?
Well, I'm just crazy excited for the whole thing, but particularly, I haven't met in person a lot of the people I'm actually working with on Cuphead. Like, and so Chad and Jared are going to be there, the main two guys behind the game, and a couple of the other team members. So I'll meet up with them there, and we'll hang out for the first time. So that'll be cool.
Amazing.
Other than that, just really getting to see all the other indie games that are being made and meet a lot of people, and VR I'm really excited for too.
Yeah. Do you have any like expectations of what you think the conference is like, just out of curiosity?
Not really. Like I've been to a lot of just nerdy conventions, anime cons and game con kind of things. I imagine sort of like that, but just a lot more professional conferences and a lot more, and it'll be a lot more sort of cutting edge. Like it's all the new games, all the new technology, but super excited. Oh my God.
Wonderful, man. I cannot wait. I was just like online booking flights the other day, and every year, like my heart rate rises a little bit, sort of every day up until the conference. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
You mentioned you have quite a unique working situation. You mentioned you've never met some of the people you've worked with before. What particular challenges do you think you face on a regular basis that people might be surprised about, or just are challenges you face on a regular basis? And maybe you could explain sort of your working situation as well for people who might not be aware.
Sure. So I freelance on it. I freelance on Cuphead out of Vancouver. This is my studio here. That's my animation desk right
Standard.
there. So I work, the whole team is totally scattered. Jared is in Regina. Chad is in I think it's called Oakville or Oakland, just outside of Toronto.
Okay.
And then the rest of the people are scattered throughout Canada or the US. And we all just talk on Skype and through Basecamp, which is the program we use to kind of manage everything. But particular challenges, it's been pretty smooth. Like we can communicate well online and everything. It'd be nice if we could, like, I do dream of one day MDHR to be an actual physical studio where we can all sit around a table and talk about ideas. Because right now it's very small sort of idea sessions and back and forth, but it'd be nice if we had a physical space.
More like ad lib, like chances for ad lib collaboration.
Like the whole writer's room thing, like just sit in a room and spitball ideas and build off of each other's ideas. I feel like there's a lot of fun to be had in that, and it leads to better ideas. Mm-hmm. But not many huge challenges particularly. I guess the biggest one would be that I am working in paper, because like if you're doing it in 3D or digitally and you do something wrong, like it's easy to fix digitally, but in paper there is the risk. It doesn't happen often, but there is the risk that you would have to actually redraw the whole thing.
And are you doing all the color, like the coloring as well? Or are you just like all the baselines and stuff?
Like me personally, like my sort of position?
Yeah, like what is your particular like role?
It started out as just animator, where I would just get a really clear direction on start with this pose of the guy like this, and then get into that pose of the punch or whatever. That was just right at the beginning, and then it sort of evolved and evolved from there. And now it's sort of a little bit of everything in regards to the animation and visuals. So now it's concept artist / designer / animator. Yeah, and the animators do their own in-betweens too. So the whole deal. It's really nice having that much ownership over your work.
Yeah, wonderful.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm like gonna get so derailed just because Cuphead is. I'm so excited about the game, and I want to like be good, be fair about what we're talking about here. So I'll have to pick your brain more about that at GDC.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna just move right along.
Sure.
Because these podcasts, ironically enough, are much longer than the actual talks themselves.
Yeah.
I sent you these questions in advance to make sure you'd sort of be prepared about what I was attacking you with. And when I sent this to you, you said you didn't know at first, but I'm gonna ask you anyways. Do you have a favorite piece of video game or animation jargon that you use on a regular basis?
Maybe pop, like poppy, poppin'. Like
not like the bad way.
Like that animation has a lot of pop, or it could be used in a good or bad way. Like this animation needs more pop, or no, that's bad. That pops.
Yeah. Cool.
I'm just gonna pick pop.
It's good. It's so funny. I think that's my final answer. I think that's funny because like every time I hear like, oh, that's gotta pop, it's like, oh, it's because the knee is locking out. But obviously that's not a problem. You generally run. You're not like accidentally hyperextending your knees in your animation. Or
I guess you're doing like Blizzard 3D animation, eh?
Yes.
Which is very, very much smooth and flowing, and popping's no good there. But
like butter.
Oh yeah, like butter. But before Cuphead, I worked on Breadwinners at Titmouse. It's not that well known. It's like it's a Nickelodeon kids show. But the animation is very poppy. It's very pose A, pop right into pose B with a little overshoot kind of thing.
But making it read.
Yeah. But so sometimes pop's good, sometimes it's bad.
Yeah. Beautiful. So what would you hope that people take away from our micro talks?
From everybody's micro talks, like as a whole, from the whole micro talk.
You can talk about from yours as well as from everybody's.
Well, from mine, I guess I'd say I hope that it is at least a little bit inspirational / motivational in terms of people sort of pursuing what they would love to pursue, like the old cliche, follow your dreams kind of thing, like go for exactly what you want to do with your life. Yeah, that's sort of the main takeaway. Just kind of anything is possible. What do you want to do the most? And go toward that. That's the main thing.
Wonderful. I think that's going to be really great because I know we have like a lot of people who are actually still studying or they're very new to the industry and they like you mentioned earlier, like schools kind of want to box you in because it's like a catch-all. So I think that'll be a good lesson to reinforce.
Yeah, for sure. And just people, I guess I'd say anybody going to a talk like this, they're sort of looking for something, or if you have everything totally figured out and your job is amazing and you're just the best person ever, then maybe you don't need to go to this workshop. But if you're there, I assume that you need something, whether it's motivation, inspiration, or just some piece of knowledge that you've been lacking. And I just hope everybody gets what they're looking for at the talks.
Wonderful, lovely. I'm just going to double check your email here about the questions I should next. I think the next one was on the list. So I guess we just have like sort of one kind of silly question that I love asking. It's from a buddy of mine's podcast that he used to do. They used to ask all their guests this, and it's ridiculous, but it is amazing, in my personal opinion. So if you could have any useless, like truly useless superpower, what would you choose?
Maybe keeping coffee the perfect temperature always.
Oh.
Have it never ever drop even a degree below perfect coffee temperature.
I feel like
you know what I'm saying?
Oh, that is the bane of my existence. When I get a
microwave coffee.
I get a coffee in the morning at work, and then I'll do that thing where I'll just zone out for a while. But it was like I knew it was like a good pot of coffee because sometimes they make it. It's just like what's the word? Primordial. Like it's gross, and it's like I know it's a cup of coffee, and I'm making it so perfect, and then I zone out. I feel like I blink, and then I'm like, it's been an hour, and I know it's cold. And I would take that superpower so fast.
Oh yeah. Although I guess maybe that's too useful.
No,
everybody
like,
would get a lot of
crime with that. You couldn't fight crime with perfectly temperature coffee.
I think if you splash a bad guy with perfect temperature coffee, it would hurt though. You could take somebody out.
Well, that depends.
Right in the eyes.
It depends on your perfect temperature of coffee. If you like it scalding, then yeah, that's quite a
Just
weapon. But if you
scalding. All right, you're right.
This lukewarm water, get out. Wonderful. So just to sort of wrap up here, do you have any final thoughts that you'd like people to mull over in the weeks leading up to GDC?
It's sort of what I mentioned before, is just think about what you would love to do, really. Yeah, what would your dream job be? And sort of the classic, if you had infinite money, if everything was totally taken care of, what would you do with your time? What would you want to do? Yeah, not what would make you the most money or what would be the most secure, or yeah.
Wonderful. Perfect. Well, thank you so much for chatting with me this
Yeah,
afternoon.
thank you. And yeah, thanks for putting together the whole micro talk thing and reaching out to everybody and putting it together.
Wonderful. Thank you. I'm very excited about it. I can't wait to hear your talk at GDC, and I guess we'll see you there.
Sweet. Sounds good. Thanks.
Bye.
See ya.